Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah Schultz. I am a realtor in the Northern Nevada market. I serve Reno and all the surrounding areas. And if you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know that I am a huge advocate and supporter and fangirl of the arts and culture scene in Reno. And on today's video, I thought it would be super fun to connect you, my audience, with the leadership of one of our most esteemed venues. I am, of course, talking about the Pioneer Center. Today, I have Denise Sewell, the CEO, and I also have Adam Cates, the Director of Community Engagement. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for giving me some of your time. I think we should just start with an overview of the venue, who you are, what you do. If you don't know, a lot of my viewers are often people who are maybe on the fence about moving to Reno. And so they follow along to see what life here might be like. And I think arts and culture is a huge part of that.
Fantastic. Well, first and foremost, let's go ahead and say moving to Reno is a fabulous idea.
I
We are
say that, just kidding.
we are both homegrown here in Reno and find ourselves working in the premier performing arts center. We're serving all of Northern Nevada. Not only do we operate this beautiful facility, we are right in the heart of downtown Reno. But we're also a 501c3 nonprofit, and we've been presenting arts and culture programming, connecting with our community since 1968. So we are this beautiful theater, very non-traditional. It's actually 2.5 stories below ground, which is very uncommon for performing arts centers. And when you relocate to Reno, when you find yourself in our beautiful city, we are right along the banks of the river that runs through the heart of downtown, and we are a one-of-a-kind building. When you see the gold anodized geodesic dome, you know you're in the right place.
Yeah,
that
it looks like a spaceship might have landed in the middle of downtown Reno. It's kind of the coolest building downtown. The architecture is world renowned. There's nothing like this place in the world.
Totally. My kids always think it's like a waffle. It's like a waffle.
We'll take it.
Really, it's not waffle.
Often referred to as
Yeah.
turtle.
Yeah.
Well, so what kind of programming do you guys primarily focus your seasons on?
Yeah, we have a wide range of programming that happens here every year. We're probably best known for our Broadway touring season called Broadway Comes to Reno. First national tours coming direct from New York to our community. These are the same tours that you would see in other major cities, San Francisco, Denver, Los Angeles, East Coast. Are playing Reno too now in their first runs, which is super exciting. We're also an intimate house compared to a lot of performing arts centers you might know. So we always have our Broadway season. We have some resident companies that present here in our facility every year. The Reno Philharmonic Orchestra is one of our resident companies. They do about 12 different concerts, ranging from classical music to contemporary orchestral music. AVA Ballet Theater does story ballets, including the Nutcracker, so you'll always get that Mouse King fix during the holidays. We have major dance companies, touring dance companies, international musicians, children's programming, and then other local professional companies that present here. So kind of truly something for everybody every season. That's what we try to make sure that we can accomplish.
I think that's so awesome. It's super rare to have access to all of that in a city of this size. So hats off to you guys. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And really, we're just carrying forward that tradition of the people who came before us. Since 1968, there were these visionaries in Reno who said, hey, even though we're kind of a small town, we're up and coming and we deserve the best of the best. So why not build a theater that can attract all of these incredible touring productions and can inspire locals to create these awesome new organizations? And so for 57 years and going, we've been the home of all of those amazing activities.
I love that. How many productions do you guys curate in a season on average?
Oh gosh. I mean, we have well over 100 performance events that happen on our stage, on our main stage every year. And then that's in addition to the outreach tours that we send out across Northern Nevada, which is up to almost 200 performance events each season.
Yeah, so not only here in our venue in the heart of downtown Reno, but we also send artists into community gathering spaces all throughout Northern Nevada, including rural locations that are really otherwise geographically isolated isolated and may not have a lot of arts and culture opportunities, we make sure that we take the fantastic things happening here in our venue and bring them out on the road as well for children, for seniors, for students, for absolutely everybody throughout the northwestern part of our state.
Wow, that's really cool. That's amazing. You already kind of touched on the architecture of the building, which, in my opinion, is one thing that truly sets it apart from other venues. But one thing that caught my ear was the underground part of your venue. What's down there? I think at one point there was like a comedy club. Like, I don't even know anymore. What's down there?
Yes, I mean, the whole building, essentially, what you see at street level is a tiny fraction. We occupy an entire city block. 2.5 stories below ground. So if you happen to walk by the front of the theater, you see the gold dome and you wonder, what's that funny place? You have no idea just how much is hidden below the surface. Our venue houses a main stage, which is about 1,500 seats. There's also an intimate venue underneath our plaza that used to be a comedy club. There was a magic show. There's been all kinds of little things inside that venue. Also, flexible space that over the years was used for conventions, for receptions, just all kinds of different purposes that could be in a big gathering space like that. Yeah, 2.5 stories below ground. The founders of this venue decided that the best idea was to excavate and put us inside a concrete bunker. And we are right next to the river. So we are inside the water table. So everything about the architectural idea for this building was radical, to say the least.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if there's ever a natural disaster, I'll be knocking on your door for, access to that bunker.
It's actually good that you say that because we were on the National Registry of Fallout Shelters. This was a designated fallout shelter in the 60s, 70s, and 80s because, yeah, this is where you should go if you needed to hunker down for a bit. The idea was head to the Pioneer.
Wow, that goes into the like save that for later category for me. Okay, let's talk about just Reno as an arts destination in general. I mean, there are so many offerings here. Obviously, the casinos have been a historic part of that, and they still are. There's lots of showrooms. We've got all kinds of like grassroots itinerant groups. I know there's like lots of burlesque and drag brunch is like a new phenomenon. What else? We've got other independent venues, the theater, we've got all kinds of stuff. So what kind of sets you apart from all of that, aside from all the outreach that you're doing? Like, what makes the Pioneer so distinct and so different from all of those other, very Reno groups and
Yeah.
venues?
I mean, there's a stylistic difference, I think, between venues and settings that lend themselves to different kinds of performances. I would say we're one of the more elegant settings, even though, it's still Reno, we're still casual.
Absolutely. Come as you are.
But it's this really beautiful, elegant mid-century modern architecture both inside and outside. And so when you see something on the stage, you feel like you're in a pretty high end theater, and we do tend to attract some of the programming that is more of that higher end caliber, from the symphony orchestras to the Broadway shows. And if you can't find something to do in Reno on any given weekend or weekday that has to do with the arts, you're
You're not paying
asleep.
attention.
Yeah, and so I think it's one of those central gathering places that people know when they come to a show at the Pioneer Center, they're getting the best of the best in still a very welcoming, relaxing, fun atmosphere.
Yeah, like Adam said, it's really accessible. There is a hometown feeling. And in any historic building, you always get that sense of history, even if you're not quite sure, like, when was this built or what has happened here over the years? There's just a feeling that's in the walls, it's in the floors. Any historic space you ever go in anywhere in the world, you always get that feeling of sort of the bones of the space. The Pioneer has that.
Yeah.
And to your comment, Sarah, there is so much in Reno. The casino showrooms are incredible. There are festivals, there are amphitheaters, there are just an overwhelming array of things to do in our area. But what happens at the Pioneer Center tends to be more of the fine art, like Adam said. And then also, again, in that historic setting, surrounded by I don't want to say the ghosts literally, but figuratively, the ghosts of all of those who have come before you, whether you are backstage, on stage, in the auditorium, you can feel the life that's been lived in this building in a really special way that to us who have the pleasure of working here, it feels sacred. And a lot of our patrons, they can feel that the first time they walk in the door. It just is different than anywhere else in Reno. And I would wager different than anywhere else in the world for the reasons we described earlier.
Totally. The richness is very apparent when you're there. I'd have to agree. Okay, this is totally off our little record of notes, but now I have to ask, have you ever had a ghost sighting?
A lot of people claim. I have had the most plausible, but I don't actually believe in ghosts, so I'm not concerned about the experience I had. But the one I've had is the one that people say, like, yeah, that's for sure the most legit ghost experience that anyone has reported.
I do believe in ghosts, and I've never seen them here at Pioneer Center.
I'm picturing a new tour you guys could add to your offerings, like the Pioneer Ghost Tours.
Honestly, the Ghost Light Tour. It's a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've had like burly sheetrock dudes come out of a space, like super white in the face, like, nope, not going back in there. And we're like, yeah, I get it.
Well, hopefully they're very, inspired and creative spirits that are lingering.
They haven't been
Theater ghosts are the best kind of ghosts. You know, if you're going to have a haunting, you want a theater ghost.
Absolutely.
I think that's a t-shirt that needs to go in your concession.
We can do that. We can make some merch.
So I was there. I think the last time I was there was for Mrs. Doubtfire. I brought 2 kids under the age of 10, and I was like, there's no way they're going to make it through. We're going to leave at intermission. They're going to be tired. I kid you not, did not want to leave their seats for intermission because they were afraid of losing their seats. I mean, they loved it. It was so fun. So can you tell us maybe what's in store for the rest of this season? And I don't know if you feel inclined to give our viewers any kind of preview about what's after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Take it away, Adam.
So we're finishing out our 30th anniversary season of the Broadway Comes to Reno currently. Mamma Mia and A Beautiful Noise are coming in the summer in June and July, and that completes our 30th anniversary season. In addition to that, we're getting into some, we have studio dance recitals, so we're getting into dance recital season. We have Alton Brown coming for his farewell tour. We do our free family series, which is perfect for young children. Artists that we bring in from around the country for our outreach tours. We also present them on our main stage in a really cool, intimate experience for kids to introduce them to live theater.
Again, totally free. We encourage people who aren't sure, will my kids sit through the 2.5 hours of Mrs. Doubtfire? Bring them to the free family series. See what it's like. See if they enjoy the space and if they want to come back for more experiences. It's a great opportunity to bring kids the first time.
Yeah. And the next season, we actually just announced our new Broadway season. You want to tell them?
Yes, but we will test my. Yes, I think I can do it. So we will kick off the 31st anniversary season of Broadway Comes to Reno with Direct from Broadway and Juliet, which has never been here before, and it's the story of Juliet after Romeo. What if he's not the focus of the story?
What if she didn't off herself and actually was like, yeah, and moved on?
What if it wasn't really just about him? And it's based, so it's based around modern pop songs as well. So even for the youngins in your life, they will know all the songs in that show.
Yeah.
So bring them to that one as well. That is going to be so much fun. And then in December, the most Tony nominated play of all time, of every play that's ever been created since the Tony Awards were invented.
Yeah.
Stereophonic. And if you don't know what Stereophonic is, do yourself a favor, look it up.
So good.
We had the pleasure of seeing it in New York last year, and we're both completely astonished by how fabulous this play is. It's not often that we get the chance to bring a straight play to Reno. It is typically just musicals. So the chance to bring this play is really, really special for Reno audiences to see a professional play.
Yeah.
And then
after that, we have the musical version of The Notebook, which is just kicking off its tour. Really, really beautiful production, music by Ingrid Michaelson. Super excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a girls' night might be brewing in my life around that.
Oh, absolutely. Bring your tissues. That one will get you right in the heart, no question.
And after that, After that, we have the corniest musical on tour called Shucked, which is basically like a 2.5 hour long dad joke. It's hilarious.
See what you did there, corny, shucked. Got it.
Get ready.
Yeah.
That is just the beginning of what you'll experience at Shuck.
It's really, really fun. Then in the summer, the Alicia Keys musical Hell's Kitchen, which is just going out on tour for the first time, really moving. It's one of the best things I've ever seen.
Incredibly powerful and so relevant to modern audiences. Again, exactly the kind of thing for younger people in your life to come to. It will speak to them directly in a way that you may think like, if the classics would. Hell's Kitchen absolutely will.
And then our last show of the 31st season, one of Denise's favorites.
Yes, everyone's favorite family show, The Sound of Music, back on tour in a massive way. So again, classic, phenomenal opportunity to bring your kids to Broadway or to bring the kid in you to Broadway, because I guarantee we all know those songs from when we were children as well. So to see them on the main stage, full Broadway production, there's just nothing like it.
So you're getting brand new Broadway shows on the road for the first time. They're playing here, then they're going to San Francisco, or vice versa. And you're getting a classic musical. We always try to program our Broadway seasons so that you're getting something new and something you've loved your whole life.
Yeah, something familiar, something you're not sure. But even when you come to the shows you weren't sure about, I guarantee you are going to love them. You're going to learn new things. You're going to become a fan of new songs. You're going to be downloading new soundtracks after you see these shows that you're not familiar with. They are all so phenomenal.
That's so cool. And I can really tell that so much thought and care goes into your selections. And so I just want to ask, like, how do you curate? It sounds like, are you just going to New York and seeing things and then booking them? Or is there kind of like inventory of traveling shows you get to choose from? Or, do you think about like Reno and the demographics here and try to cater to that? Or is it a combination?
Yeah, it's all
of the above.
It's all of the things you just described. We do have the incredible good fortune of going to New York every season, seeing the latest things that are on Broadway. Sometimes those productions do get to mount a national tour, and sometimes they just don't. There's so many factors that go into whether or not any given show, not about whether or not it's good, just about whether or not it's going to be able to create a tour that has the opportunity to travel the country. But once a show makes it through that initial hurdle and it does get to create a national tour, then it's the puzzle piece of trying to look at our calendar and our place in the country and what route those shows are going to be on at what time of the year. It's this incredibly complicated. And so of all the shows that we see that we love every single year, we throw our hat in the ring for so many different titles. And we typically look about 2 years into the future with our booking calendar, but also between now and 2 years from now, every single thing in the world could change. So it's a constantly shifting tapestry as well. Even if we booked a show, there's lots of reasons that something may change and the lineup may evolve 2 years from now from what we think it might be today.
Then we also have like our seasonal stalwarts, especially the Reno Phil. We always know they're going to do their Christmas show and their classic series here. They always do a family show and they create their content. We always know we're going to have the Nutcracker, and then we're not sure too far ahead what the story ballets will be from the ballet companies, but
And so within that, making sure that we're programming around those other community favorites, right? The things that we know every single year. We want to make sure we are the home for our local school district for their honor recitals so that the students in middle school and high school who are in band, honor orchestra, or honor choir can perform on our stage. So we also use that as part of the puzzle piece that we play with for the Broadway series as well, making sure that we do our absolute best to be the stage for everyone and everything to the best of our ability.
I love that. And that also sounds like an overwhelming amount of work. So thank you.
Not at all.
Here.
We're awake.
It's just the two of us who do literally all of those things.
That's not true.
We have an amazing team of people who are all so passionate, so dedicated. Just like in any nonprofit, working at the Pioneer Center is a labor of love. If you didn't love this, you wouldn't stick around. But we have a team that is so dedicated and so committed, and we all derive so much joy from what we do. So even when it's hard work, it's in service of something we really are passionate about. Yeah. And we feel very good. Even when we're exhausted at the end of the day, we know we did good things.
That's amazing. I love that. Well, thank you for, bringing that here. I just want to touch on, obviously with all this richness of history with the Pioneer and also just Reno as a community, looking towards looking in the past, like, do you have any super memorable performances or moments that really just stand out as like, a real highlight of the venue for you?
Oh, I have so many. I've actually worked here for 20 years, so I have a lot of memories in this beautiful space. For me personally, one of my tops is when Art Town, which is a local nonprofit organization here that does a month-long arts festival every July. They also present a lot of events with us in the non-July months of the year. They brought Mikhail Baryshnikov to perform on our stage, and he was with a modern dance company called Hell's Kitchen Dance Theater, I want to say was the name. Um, and I watched from the back of the balcony and wept because it was so beautiful. It was so emotional. The performance was unbelievable. That was young Denise being extremely emotional about that beautiful dance performance. But a more recent memory for me that's very meaningful is when we emerged from an 18-month closure due to the global COVID pandemic. The very first Broadway show that we did coming out of that closure was 2 sold out weeks of Hamilton. And prior to the pandemic, we had only done split weeks, meaning we had only hosted Broadway shows on the weekends. We didn't do full week Broadway shows. We certainly didn't do 2 weeks of Broadway. But during the pandemic, we asked ourselves, what does the world want from the other side of this? For those of us who are fortunate enough to get to build the new normal, what should it look like? And we knew that togetherness was going to be more important than ever, that isolation during the pandemic was one of the worst aspects of it. So we bet on success. We decided, yes, if we come back, we're lucky enough to come back. Let's do it bigger than we've ever done it before. Let's bet it on black. Let's just, go all in on this. And so when we were able to come back with those 2 weeks of Hamilton with our tiny but mighty team who hadn't let people in the space for 18 months, who didn't necessarily remember the ins and outs of how to do our jobs, let alone with all of these new rules on top. We knocked it out of the park. And it was like the little engine that could. We believed in it, and the community responded overwhelmingly supportively, which is, of course, the only reason we get to do anything at all is thanks to this community. But yeah, coming back and doing Hamilton was equally emotional.
Yeah.
Denise cried for that one too.
That was a crazy time. And just in case you didn't know, my background prior to real estate was in show business. I was essentially a casino showgirl before all this. And I basically, during the pandemic, aged out of all of that. So now here I am in real estate. However, I remember that feeling of like, will this ever end? Will we ever come back to the stage? Will we ever do all this? All these things that have been such a staple, and also, in my opinion, things that have really defined our city. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely glad that we are where we are now. And it does seem like a long time ago in a lot of ways, but in other ways, it's very recent.
Yeah.
And nothing is the same as it was before, right? Like, thank goodness we are able to come back together now, and these amazing things, including things in our unique Reno heritage, like the showgirl culture. We are back in a big way, but we're back, older, wiser, slightly different, but even more committed to the importance of carrying forward arts and culture, bringing people together, providing people with an escape from their everyday, letting them walk in someone's shoes for a couple of hours through, being an audience member at a performance and seeing a story unfold around you. More than ever, we believe that the world really needs that. And we're thrilled that we get to work in this industry, get to do this every day.
That's amazing. Okay, just a couple last questions and then I won't take any more of your time, but we've touched on the past and now I just want to talk about the future. Obviously, in my industry, we're seeing all day, every day, just people are moving here in droves. Reno itself is changing. I think that the landscape of marketing and even arts and culture is changing with, this digital era and all of that. So how is a venue that is so rooted in history, you said you were built in 68, right? Like how
Mm-hmm.
are you adapting and changing to kind of move with the times and keep it relevant and current? I know you mentioned that you're doing a lot of outreach with, school age children. I think that's a huge piece of it. Obviously, they're all buried in devices and to have
Yes.
live experience is so impactful and they may not even know what they're missing until they see it. But, kind of what is your strategy along those lines?
I mean, like you're doing, we're always trying to find ways to meet new patrons we haven't met yet. And so whether that is embracing new conventions in marketing to reach people, working with the real estate community to promote the center, things like that are all really important. But we've also, been looking to make sure that our programming is meeting contemporary needs and desires of what patrons expect from a performing arts center. We've diversified ourselves as producers and have been venturing into creating our own programming more and more. So, in addition to the outreach tour to elementary schools across 9 counties, which we call Pioneer Center Youth Programs, we launched a program for senior citizens, which takes live performing arts into assisted living and nursing homes and memory care centers and places where seniors live and congregate who may not be able to come downtown to the Performing Arts Center anymore, to really use the power of the arts as healing and combating those feelings of loneliness. We produce a summer dance festival every August. It's outdoors. It's called the Dog Days of Summer Dance Festival. It is a benefit for SPCA of Northern Nevada, who partners with us on it. We're all dog lovers.
Yes.
And a cat lover. I can never take the cat.
Lover.
I love that event, by the way. Lots of my friends
Thank you.
perform in that.
Oh, it's so special.
That's like free to the community. So, finding ways that the arts can connect on so many different levels for better access to people from all kinds of financial demographics, so that they too can enjoy the benefits of the arts and come together. And we have to highlight local dance makers in that way.
Yeah, and those performance platforms are equally part of it, right? Like cultivating audiences, but also cultivating the next generation of performers.
Yeah.
And so that's where making sure that our main stage does host those student recitals, that we invite students in for field trips, but we also bring them up on stage to explore their creativity, that we hire local artists for our outreach programs, for our dance festival, that we feature those artists in the main stage as well. All sorts of opportunities to grow appreciation of the arts, patronage of the arts, creation of the arts, everything we can do so that it thrives long after we are here. And we have the benefit of working with amazing local partners here. One of our key values for our nonprofit is what we refer to as the power of partnership. We make sure that we don't just go it alone. It's not just me and Adam saying, like, I think this would be fun. Let's just make a show like that, right? Everything is done in collaboration and in engagement. And all of the local nonprofit arts organizations that we work with, they too are constantly evaluating how can we evolve with the world? How can we meet the need in 2025, which is going to be different than the need back in 2019, let alone in 1968. So I think a lot of it is in being open, being humble, being receptive to the world around you, and being willing to take a little risk every once in a while and try a thing you haven't tried before to make sure that you don't stagnate.
We listen to our patrons when they tell us they're interested in a certain kind of programming, when they tell us they need certain accommodations for accessibility needs.
Absolutely.
We're very passionate about trying to meet people where they're at and make sure that they're seeing something that they're going to take enjoy or take something from, but they're also going to have an experience as a patron where they feel taken care of and seen.
Yeah, and every performing arts center should be for the people, but most especially if you are a nonprofit community gathering space performing arts center, which we are. We always say the Pioneer Center belongs to this community. It's not ours. We are the stewards of it. We have this incredible good fortune in this moment to be the caretakers, but the Pioneer Center belongs to everyone in our region, and we want to make sure that we are constantly inviting people. So open ears, open heart, open arms, open in every way that we can be to evolve with the community, certainly. And we don't pretend to know what the people who come after us will want from the arts. So we learn something new every single day. We don't just lead with our vision. We make sure that it is truly collaborative.
I love that. Well, thank you for providing that for all of us. It's amazing.
Thank you for enabling.
You're going to be really happy that we have access to all this amazing programming.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, how How can people find you guys online? Do you have any like pro tips for best time to buy tickets, best seats in the house, etc.? Like what would you advise for
Yeah.
somebody who's maybe, a lot of my viewers, they are thinking about moving here, but before they do, they usually come and explore the city. And maybe part of that would include seeing a show. So what kind of tips do you have for them and how do they find you?
Yeah, of course. So everything, all of our programming is listed on our website, which is pioneercenter.com. I also always encourage people to sign up for our email newsletters. You can do that on our website. That's where you're getting all of the information as new things go on sale, any sort of early access codes, priority codes, things like that. Also, our social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, follow us on those platforms because again, like any sort of like pre-sale codes or announcements of upcoming shows, we're always posting on our social media, as soon as we can, make those announcements. Those are great ways to keep up with us.
And I would say, as like a patron, sometimes like just don't wait to buy tickets because I remember when we went to buy tickets for Mrs. Doubtfire, it was like we were lucky to find three seats together.
Oh
So
yeah.
they sell out fast.
For sure. And that's, that would be a reason to be on the newsletter or be on the social media, because then you're finding out like the second they go on sale and you can get in there and find the best seats at the best prices. Because yeah, people that wait for those big Broadway tours like Beetlejuice was just in here. We got a lot of phone calls like, I can't get tickets. I'm like, well, it's been on sale for quite a while. And
Should have thought of that.
we have 1,500 seats and 8 performances. We can't
Yeah.
and then they have to go to the next city. Like we can't just ask them to stay longer. So
Yeah, and this community is so supportive of arts and culture. People come out really in amazing numbers to support all of the different kinds of things in the community. So yes, we would encourage if there's a show that you think you're interested in, just jump on it. Come down, have that experience. If you wait until a week out, you may be a little bit disappointed with what your options are.
yeah,
Doesn't mean you couldn't find a seat, but you might not get to sit together. So of course, the best thing is to make sure to, like Adam said, be in that early access. Come on down. As far as places to sit, I love the balcony. So from my perspective, insider tip, sit in the balcony. You may imagine, oh, it's too far, I don't want to be that far from the stage. This is such an intimate house.
yeah,
And when you sit in the balcony and you have that view looking slightly down on the stage, not only do you see the entire set, all the performers, but you get to see the musicians, if in fact there are musicians in the orchestra pit. And that is its own fascinating performance in addition to what's happening on stage. You also get to see the lighting on the stage from a different angle in a really beautiful way. And it's also a lot faster to get in and get
yeah.
out. So,
Sure.
pro tip, sit in the balcony.
Another great way to access seats early for Broadway is to become a subscriber. And we start those new subscriptions in June this year. That way you're buying all the Broadway shows up front. You get your same seats, same night of the week. Like you can set it and forget it, put it in your calendar. You don't have to worry about going on and trying to find tickets. You already have them.
Yeah,
That's
season
cool.
ticket
Is that like a
love Broadway.
tiered pricing or what does that look like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's the same price levels that individual tickets would be subject to. So for the Broadway series, there are typically 3 or 4 different price levels depending on where you sit in the auditorium. And that's also the way that our season ticket packages are structured. But it gets you into every single Broadway show in the season. And like Adam said, you'd pay that one fixed price for the season package. You'd be in all the shows. You would have your seats guaranteed. You would know you had 6 baked in date nights or girls' nights or night out with mom or whatever it is that you do when you go out to the theater, whoever your special night is with, you'd have those already on your calendar ready to go. You wouldn't have to worry about the individual on sale dates or did you make it in before the rush? Like you would just be guaranteed to come to all the shows that season. That is far and away the best way to make sure you get into Broadway.
I also love like, you kind of sit with the same people each time.
Yep.
It's like a little mini community in
Yes.
your section for Broadway. I mean, we one of our board members has had season tickets since year one. And I think 10, 15 years ago, she missed a show because she went into labor and all of her, Broadway seatmates like brought her baby gifts at the next Broadway show because she missed.
I got it.
It's a community builder. Yeah, it's so funny.
Wow, that's so cool. Well, so if you guys are listening and you're thinking about visiting, maybe that's not the strategy, but once you move here for sure, you should be buying that pass. And if you're a local listening, you're missing out if you don't have that. Good suggestion.
Especially if you do relocate to this community, you're going to want to look for social opportunities. You're going to want to build a new network in your new home. What better way than coming out and sharing a fabulous evening with people who are equally excited to be here, who have dinner and drinks beforehand, who enjoy the show, who share conversation at intermission? It's such a good way to get to know some of your new neighbors in your new hometown.
Totally. That's super cool. Well, that was all of my questions. Do you guys have anything you'd like to add?
I, yeah, come visit us for
Cool.
sure.
Well, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. And if you guys are thinking about making a move to Reno, I would love to be of service to you. If you have any questions about life here or real estate, or perhaps you're a local, you guys can book a free call with me. There's a link to do that in the show notes below. It's no obligation, just a chance to connect, see if we might be a good fit, or at the very least, get your questions answered and help you put a winning strategy in place. And if you haven't already, please smash that like and that subscribe button. I put out new videos every single week about the Reno Sparks market, the Reno Sparks lifestyle, and all things to do with buying and selling real estate. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you next week.